everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Card Talk, a podcast where we spend a little bit of time talking about cards from Lord of the Rings, the card game. I'm your host, Dave Walsh.
And I'm Grant Thompson, just along for the ride. And today we will be talking about the Galadhon Archer, the 2-cost tactics ally from the Ninnin Elves Adventure Pack. He is a 2-cost, 0 willpower, 2 attack power, 0 defense, 1 hit point, Sylvan warrior with range with the response after he enters play, deal 1 damage to an enemy not engaged with you. So, David, what's your thought on this ranger? Well, warrior.
this warrior ranger. First of all, I think it's important to tell our audience that we're kind of examining a specific deck type, and certain cards only make sense in a deck type. So if we're going to really do card talk, we want to make sure we address all the cards. And so we're really talking and focusing about Sylvans and Sylvans that really only make a lot of sense to play in a Sylvan deck. And so some cards don't make sense to play in general in other places, but a lot of these cards in this slippery Sylvan deck are really designed to go into a Sylvan deck. And so the Galadhon Archer is not really an exception. For 2 cost, you get 2 attack and with 1 hit point. And so it's a really squishy ally, which makes him not very good at anything other than just being a ranged attacker. But his response, when he comes into play, deal 1 damage to an enemy not engaged with you, is really nice. Now, if you're not playing it in this Sylvan deck where Sylvans are coming in and out of play, you get the 1 damage and you may be able to do something. That's fine, it's a modest ability. But the Galadhon Archer, when you combine it with coming in and out of play, maybe even several times around, where you can play him, you can tree people him in, and then you can island him mid perils. You can pull him back into your hand and then play him again. Sneak attack. There's times when I've snuck him into play just to do it. That is really nice. The time that I feel like he really shows how good he is in this deck is when you use him with Thranduil's ability to bring out and bring an ally out in the combat, because he does the 1 damage to somebody not engaged with you, which is fine, but then he's attacking for 3, and coupled with Olorian, and he may only cost 1, so you're attacking for 3 when you already have kind of planned out who's defending and who's attacking. That 3 attack is crazy. So it's not often that I bring him out, and I don't have tactics in this deck to bring him out during the regular planning phase. But you could tree people him in if you're he's not the best choice for tree people. If you're not to bring back into your hand, but if you're drawing 5 and you have the Galadhon Archer, he's not necessarily the best to put out. But if that's the only one you have, that's the only one you have.
It's better to get something than nothing.
Yeah, better to get something than nothing, exactly. So that's kind of my thoughts on the Galadhon Archer. Just to remind myself what I said, I think, outside of this slippery Sylvan deck, he's meh. Inside the slippery Sylvan deck, he's good because you can bring him in and out of play. What do you think?
I agree with everything you've said about Galadhon Archer. He's not great at staying around. So if you've got a way to bring him back to your hand to avoid those direct damage effects, brilliant. His 2 attack is decent for a 2-cost ally. His response is okay because of the fact that it's deal 1 damage to an enemy not engaged with you, so that could be an Eastern Crows up in the staging area, or it could be a final point of damage on a hill troll engaged with you, if you're playing in 2-player engaged with somebody else. But in all honesty, outside of a Sylvan bounce deck, or David's Slippery Sylvans. I haven't used it much. So do you want to ring this guy?
Well, I was going to say that one of the reasons why I have him in the deck, and I didn't say this before, is to feed Rumil. Rumil has that ability, you get 1 damage on anything for every ranged character you control. So
Yeah.
I think that 3 Galadhon Archers is good to have in the deck, yes, for their ability, but also to help feed Rumil.
Yeah,
So
I agree with that.
yeah, so I mean,
I also
go ahead.
like to point out the flavor text is brilliant. I love that quote. You breathe so loud that they could shoot you in the dark.
Right. I think in the book they were talking about Gimli in that
Yes.
case, but he's the guy that's going to do the shooting.
They were talking about Gimli when they were walking through the top end of Lothlorien,
Right.
just after they'd left the mines. And in the movies, it was said by Haldir. In the book, it was actually said by Legolas.
So what do you think? Should we ring this guy?
Let's do it.
So just so the audience knows, we've been spending a little bit of time talking about this particular deck type. So we're ringing these cards within the use of the deck, the Slippery Sylvans, but also in general. Because again, like we said in the intro, it just doesn't make sense sometimes to do these cards standalone. We learned kind of from our Boots of Erebor episode, that card really just applies to Hobbit and Dwarf decks, and that's how we should ring them. So in that vein, what we're ringing them in 2 ways in these episodes. We're doing a general overall ringing from 1 to 10 in our normal way, and then we're also ringing them as they play in a regular in the regular card pool. So 2 ring ratings. So Grant, go ahead.
Right. For the overall card pool, he's not the best. There's definitely better allies out there that stay around longer or have a better effect that you could go with. So overall, I'm giving them an 8. Inside the Slippery Sylvans deck, I'm giving him a 3 because he is potent, especially when dropped in with Thranduil's ability. That attack for 3 plus the 1 damage to an enemy not engaged with you could potentially do some decent damage. Dropping in a couple of them with 3 people and then pulling out Rumil. So yeah, I'm giving him a 3. David, what are your thoughts for ringing this guy?
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of trends probably in both of our ratings where outside of, up against the whole card pool, all these cards are probably not going to be as good just because they're niche-y. They work within an archetype and it's just not, general use. And this is no exception. I think outside of this Sylvan deck, I just don't think the Galadhon Archer gets much play for a good reason. He has 1 hit point. He can't defend. He doesn't quest if he absolutely needs somebody. So he's really there for one thing, and that's to attack. When you're not using him outside, when you're using him outside of this deck type, and so I think that really gives him like 8 rings. He's not a card that anybody's really going to turn to. He's just kind of a corner case card. But within the deck, I think he's good. Having used the deck extensively over the past 2 months, I think that if I had to replace an ally, he could be the one that could be easily gone because for him to feed Rumil, it could be a case of win versus win more with 10 ranged characters in the deck, or 10 total that you could have out and play. So I think but that 1 damage is also really good because, again, he can come in and out of play with kind of the way that the deck works. So I think that within the deck, because he could be replaceable, I'm going to have to go with probably 4 rings. He's good in the deck. And that 3 attack is great, but I think he's maybe one of the cards that could be replaceable or just cut altogether if you don't like the fact that it's a 59 card deck. So join us next time as we spend a little more time talking about cards from the card game. Have a great day. And if you're interested in finding this or any of our back episodes of Card Talk, feel free to search YouTube where you can find our flagship video episodes with the username Card Talk 2018. Or you can search the RSS feed cardtalk2018.libsyn.org for our extended audio versions of our podcast. Or you can find us on Facebook at Card Talk 2018. And if you have any questions for Grant or myself or for both of us, feel free to email us at cardtalk2018@gmail.com.